You're sitting in a meeting, nothing is wrong. No one is in danger. The room is temperature controlled, the chair padded, and the biggest threat in the building is probably the coffee machine. But your heart is beating a little faster than it should. Your palm of DAP is keep drifting to the door, and some quiet part of your mind is running calculation you do not ask it to run. Is this safe? Where's the exit? Is everyone looking at me? Nothing is hurting you, but your brain has not quite accepted that. That feeling, the low hum of redness, the background scan for danger, is not anxiety. It is not ill flu. It is the oldest software your body runs, and it is still running right now. In the background, whether you notice it or not. The question is not why you feel it. The question is why you ever built this way in the first place, and the answer is far stranger than you think. Go back 2 million years. Your forebears are not sitting in office. They are moving across open savanna, exposed on all sides, with no shelter, no weapons worth mentioning, and no guarantee of surviving the next hour. They are not at the top of the food chain. For most of early human history, they were not even close. Paleontologist Robert Year, studying the place where these early humans died in Tanzania, and found something that rewrote the traditional picture of early humans as hunter. The cut marks on old bones told a different story. In many cases, the animal had bitten the bones first. Your forebears were not always the one's eating. Think about what the world required of a brain. You can't afford to relax completely. Not ever, because the one time you finally switch off, the one afternoon you stop scanning the grass of movement, might be the last afternoon you have. Evolution is brutally simple on this point. The forebears survived were not necessarily the strongest, fastest. They were the ones who never fully stopped being afraid. Neuroscientist Joseph spent decades mapping the fear pathway of the mammalian brain. What he found was the structure responsible for the threat detection. The amygdala is small almond-shaped cluster deep in the brain, operate or almost entirely outside your active awareness. It processes what you see and hear and put the danger before the thinking part of your brain even know what's happening. Before you are on purpose, register a shape in your side vision. Your amygdala has already sent a distress signal. Your body is already responding. Your heart rate is already shifting. This is not a bug. This is the system working exactly as designed. Speed is everything when the threat is real. Here is the problem. The threat is not real anymore, but the system does not know that. Your amygdala cannot tell apart between a line in the grass and a passive-aggressive email from your manager. It cannot tell the difference between a charging predator and an unnatural silence on a phone. It reads input, elevated social tension, sudden loud noise, unfamiliar facial, the feeling of being watched, ended fire. Every time, because in the environment it was built for. Playing itself on the side of caution was not just useful. It was the only strategy that worked. Psychologist Paul Rosen calls this as the negativity bias. Across dozens of studies, he and his colleagues found that negative events register more deeply, more quickly, and more durably in the human mind. Losing something hurts roughly twice as much. Gaining the same thing feels good. Bad memories stick faster. Hold attention longer than rewards. Your brain is not balanced. It will never supposed to be. It was built for a world where missing a thread killed you, and missing a reward just meant you slightly rose afternoon. So now you are carrying the brand into a world that has almost no predator left. Savannas are gone. The lions are gone. The enemy groups who might kill you in the night are gone. But the machine is still running. It has been running for so long, in so many generations, that it's not something you can simply choose to turn off. The wiring is too deep, too fast to automate. This is why you flinch at shadows. This is why a dark parking lot feels different than even when you know rationally, then the risk is nearly identical. This is why you reply embarrassing moment from year ago at 3 in the morning. Your brain is still running threat assessment on social danger the way it once ran threat assessment on physical ones. Isolation from the group in the early human involvement was a death sentence. Being laughed at meant being rejected. Being rejected, dying alone, without protection, without resource, without reproduction. Social pain and physical pain are processed in overlapping brain region. This is not a coincidence. Neuroscientist Nomi conducted a study using a simple virtual ball tossing game. Participants were left to believe they were being executed from the game by other players. Brain scans showed activation in the physical pain center of the brain. The same region the process physical pain left out of the game, even a meaningless digital game, triggered the same neural network as being hurt. Your brain files social rejection in the same folder as a broken arm, because for long enough the consequences were the same. And this is where it gets strange. You're not running from a predator right now. You're not as starving. You're not running from a predator right now. You're not starving. You're not being excluded from a tribe that controls your access to food and shelter. By every objective measure, you're living in the safest, most comfortable moment in human history. And yet the machinery does not care. It keeps scanning, it keeps flagging, it keeps whacking you up at 3 in the morning to review these things you should 5 years ago that might have caused someone to think less of you. Vigilance that keep your phobias alive is now turned inwards, aimed at ghosts, burning fuel on problems that don't exist, building threat out of silence and the unknown, because that was always wiser than assuming everything was fine. There's a term researchers use for this: hypervigilance without survivor. Alarm system is still on, but the house it was built to protect no longer exists. So what do you do with that? The first thing is simply to name it. When the background hum starts, when the chest feels heavy for no clear reason, when you scan a room automatically, when you play out conservation that have not happened yet. You're not broken. You're running old, cold, and modern hardware. The system is doing exactly what it designed to do. It is just that I designed it to million year ago. Naming it does not make it disappear, but it changed the relationship. Instead of being inside the alarm, you're watching it fire. And that small distance is where all modern mental to mindfulness, mental reframing, therapy, even basic breathing exercise are trying to get you not to silence the alarm, just to stop automatically believing every threat in a novel. Because here's something about your phobias: the one who survived were not only the most afraid, they were also the ones who could act despite fear, who could assess, recalibrate, and move with a lot of error between real danger and imagined danger. The capacity is in you too. It is just not as loud as the alarm. The next time your heart rate rises for no clear reason, your palm got damp in a meeting, your brain start rehearsing disaster scenario from an ordinary Tuesday. Remember that you are not expressing a malfunction, you are expressing the legacy of every old who survived long enough to have children. The machinery that kept them alive is still running in you. Nothing has hurting you but your brain built in the world where people something always was. Nothing is hurting you but your brain built in a world where something always was. We'll probably never fully believe that, and maybe there next why you're still here.